Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we'll make a custom cable tag jig. What you see here is a cable tag, and what they use these for are a ton of different applications. But generally when we do them, they're used by companies to mark electrical conduits and piping and all that kind of stuff, because it just goes right around it, and it's very easy to tie onto something. So that's why they call it cable tag. Now, a while ago, I made my own jig using my laser for a cable tag. And the way it works is you put this under the laser. This is made with the laser, but you put this under the laser, you put your cable tag inside, and then you can etch, the information that you need on the tag repeatably and, very efficiently. Now, for this one here, the customer saw that and say, I got a laser and I need one made as well. Now, you can only work with CO2 lasers when you're making this kind of stuff, or a router. They just have a fiber laser, so that means they can't make their own jig. So this one here is one made with the router behind me. I made two versions of it. So one has a lot deeper pockets, about double the depth of the first one. And the reason for doing that is because this is going off to Australia, and I want to make absolutely sure, because they can't send me one to double check. I'm pretty sure it's the same tag, but there might be a couple little variances. So one is perfect to spec, and you have the cable tag that goes inside of it, and it fits absolutely perfectly. And the other one, you have just a little bit of give in all three directions, a little bit more depth. Again, just in case there's a bit of a variance in the cable tags that they get in Australia versus what they get in North America. At least they have this, it's no fun sending MDF, although it is relatively easy. They have an option to use this one just in case the first one, for whatever reason, doesn't want to work for them. The reason why you see one jig already on the table, actually manufactured, is because I forgot to turn the camera on when I did the first part. The first one has about 1 millimeter more of give, X and Y, and about 1.5 millimeters more depth. And again, because I'm shipping this off to Australia, I just want to make absolutely sure that we're covered both with a dead-on jig and one with just a little bit of give, just to make sure the customer, we don't have to ship it all the way over there all over again and wait a couple of weeks and so forth. So what I'm doing now is I'm carving out the silhouette, and then after that I carve out the edges. The reason why I carve out the edges a little bit deeper than the top part is because the tag actually has indents underneath of it. And if I did it totally dead flat, which I can do, the jig would still work, but the problem is those indents would be a little bit up. Now, normally that's not an issue, but we're using a fiber laser, or the customer is using a fiber laser to etch this. And when you use the fiber laser galvo on metal that's very, very thin, this is stainless steel, it tends to want to warp on you. And if you already have the two indents on the sides, on both sides, lifting up the tag, it just wants to warp even more. So having a solid surface for the tag to rest on, and the indents sort of hanging out on the sides, produces a far better product. And it also makes sure that if there is any warping, it's minimal, because the MDF is actually sucking some of the heat out of the cable tag and so just floating over it. Because with a galvo, you gotta remember, there's no air going around it, and these tags are put in by hand and taken out by hand. Now, the machine behind me is a CNC router, and it can make very high precision large parts, but we actually use it to make a lot of very small parts such as these. One of the considerations for something like this here is that you'll notice dog bones. And the reason for that is because you have a round bit, and a round bit cannot make a sharp inner corner. So as a result, either you do by hand with a chisel, or you make dog bones, or their equivalents, with the router. And what that is, it overshoots the corners. Let's use my laser version of it. It overshoots a little bit here, overshoots a little bit there. So by default, you have a space where the corner would have been, and it works just as well. Now, the nice thing about the laser is you don't have to worry about that because there is no bit. The bad thing about the laser is it has no depth control. It just, does the power, just does the speed, and that's it. So with the router, I have depth control, but I have to do dog bones. With the laser, I can do sharp inner corners, but I don't have any depth control. So it's, which poison you prefer to take to do this kind of work. So if you're looking for custom jigs, contact me at CNCKing.com. We'll make them for you and ship them right to your door.